Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the Golden Era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. As most of you will remember, I recently had the great pleasure of interviewing Instagram sensation and Australian natural bodybuilder Joel Kellett, and at the audience's request, Joel answered many of your questions. Today, I'd like to share more of the Q&A session that we had last week, where Joel specifically details his training split. That's right, he gives details on how he trains his legs, back, chest, delts, and arms. He gives great tips on how to improve on your training and even how to discover how a particular exercise can affect certain muscle groups in your own physique. It's a great Q&A. Hope you enjoy it. And here is an awesome photo and really does portray why Joel is called 70s Arnold. I mean, this shot is so vintage. It looks like it just came out of the 70s during pumping iron. Hope you enjoy this part of the Q&A. All right. How many times a week do you train calves?
Well, that's the same as every other body part, like 2 to 3 times.
Okay.
Because I'm at the moment doing a 3-day rotation, nothing falls on the same day.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't really go off weeks, but yeah, it'd be roughly at least twice a week.
And what's your take on machines versus free weights?
I definitely prefer free weights. There's some machines that I love. It's just machines. I find most machines you have to try and manipulate the movement a little bit. Whether I have to put like an extra sort of padded seat in front of it. There's a calf raise machine at the gym I use. I have to instead I use it's a hack squat machine and there's another little platform you can fold back and do calves with. But I don't use that additional plate to train my calves, and I use the platform from where you squat from. Like you have to, I find you have to tweak machines a little. Like it doesn't give you the kind of range of motion, obviously, that dumbbells or barbells would give. So obviously, my preference is free weights.
It's as old school as it gets, doesn't it?
Because it works.
Exactly. What's your back routine? This person asks.
My back routine seems to change a fair bit because that's a weak point for me. Back is a weak point. At the moment, though, I'm doing a very similar workout to that of Sean Ray. I watched I was lacking motivation. I watched a Sean Ray back training video, and he seemed to do the same routine quite consistently from what I've seen. I've watched a number of back training videos, and he's always doing a very similar thing, which is chin-ups. I'll do something like maybe 4 to 5 sets of chin-ups before I go into single arm dumbbell rows. Then I do either barbell row. Yeah, I usually do barbell row. Following that, then seated row. Then I'll go back to pull down. Like I'll do behind the head lat pull down. And I'm missing something here. Oh no, that's it. 5 exercises: chin-ups, dumbbell rows, barbell rows, seated rows, behind the head, lat pull down.
Cool. Another person asks, what is your arm workout and which specific exercises do you use?
I'll go off what it is I do most often. I like to superset triceps and biceps, and I'll do anywhere between 3 and 4 exercises per muscle group. So I'll pick a tricep exercise and a bicep exercise and go back and forth between them for 4 to 5 sets, and then on to the next pair of exercises, onto the next pair of exercises, and onto the next pair of exercises. So 4 pairs of exercises. Yeah, that's right. And my favorite exercise, was that the question? My favorite exercise?
Yeah, like specific exercises you would use.
I always find myself starting with rope tricep extensions and What do I start with for biceps? Usually, I might either start with like just a barbell curl or a preacher curl, and they would probably be my favorite exercise. Definitely, that rope push down for triceps is my favorite tricep exercise, or the single arm dumbbell extensions.
Mhm.
That would probably have to be my favorite. I do that. I don't think I've. I think I've been doing that rather consistently. Probably I don't know the last 10 to 20 arm sessions. To me, it feels really good, so I just keep doing it. And for
Cool.
biceps, I do like concentration curls, and I love preacher curls. They're two of my favorite bicep exercises.
Your chest workout is the next question.
It's very simple stuff. Like it'll always be either a flat or incline press, followed by, you know, um, the one I didn't do first. So say if I start on maybe a Smith machine incline press and then flat barbell press, I always do dips, usually third exercise, and then finish with a fly exercise. It's very standard stuff, but I guess it's the technique and intensity that makes the difference.
Mhm.
You know, full range of motion, high intensity, high volume. That's what I believe in.
Yeah. How do you train your shoulders is the next question.
This is an interesting question because I've seen so many assumptions made on what it is I do for shoulders or what it is I don't do rather for shoulders, even to the point of people saying that I don't train them intentionally to give myself this appearance, that they had in the 60s and 70s, or to give the appearance that my arms are bigger than what they really are, which is actually nonsense. I train everything with the same level of intensity, the same frequency, consistency. Everything is very similar. And again, the same as say chest. Usually, I do 4 exercises, the same amount, and the same amount of volume, so the same amount of sets and reps, and equal intensity, like I said. So it's not. I'm not, you know, choosing to train shoulders only once a week or doing it sort of half-assed or anything. That's what you see is the result of what I believe is training everything equally. You know,
Mhm.
and I think how it should be and how I guess it should look. I think this is my opinion. I think shoulders are something that are overdeveloped today, big
Yeah.
time. They're not a large muscle group. There's only 3 heads to the shoulder, the same amount of heads that the tricep has.
Mm.
They're roughly the same size, those muscle groups. Yet, um, I mean, with maybe what's his name, Kevin Levrone, as the exception because he had ridiculous triceps. But yeah, I think a lot of guys I see their arms are ridiculously underdeveloped and their shoulders are overdeveloped. I don't like that look. You know?
Me neither. I
Yeah.
agree. Like you can tell the guys that are on roids actually, because that's
Mm.
usually the look they have. They have a blown up cannonball delts and
Yeah.
stringy arms, and it
And
just looks really weird.
usually the shoulders. I mean, this is just based off what I've seen. I don't think it's going to be everyone's case, but usually the shoulders now, at least, whether they're injecting directly into the shoulders
Mm.
or they're using maybe something like synthol, but there's
Yeah.
no separation and definition in the shoulders anymore, and it sort of blends into the chest.
Yeah.
Getting the striations and separation that you used to see, like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You don't you don't really get that look. So I don't know what it is they're doing, but it's not appealing to me.
Yeah. Uh, man. Last question, I think, because I've
Yeah.
also got to get going.
Yeah.
How do you build your outer chest? Is the last question.
I contribute that complete full look to doing dips and flies and
Oh,
doing them consistently, you know, doing them properly, full range of motion, and doing them consistently. And I would say dips more than flies because it's one of those exercises that I've done on their own for an entire chest workout on occasions. There's been a few occasions recently where I've gone to Bondi Beach, and they have some bars there you can do dips and pull-ups on, and I'll go back and forth supersetting. I'll do pull-ups and dips. So dips for chest, I don't do any push-ups or anything while I'm there, but I might do upward of say 10 sets of dips while I'm there. And the very next day, I'm very sore, and specifically in the outer chest, almost where it connects to the serratus.
Mm-hmm.
So I know for certain that dips will engage that section of your chest. I can't remember who it was, or I know I did read it was a bodybuilder, I think even potentially before Arnold's time, that would choose only one exercise per body part to see exactly the next day, when he'd wake up and see exactly where he was sore. So say he did a tricep exercise, no one knew exactly what part, say, of the tricep it was working, or even particular exercises, they had no idea what muscle groups that it was targeting, or what the assisting muscles were. So they'd just pick one exercise and do, say, 10 sets on it, and then, go home, rest, wake up, and see where they were sore.
Yeah.
So I think that it's not a bad idea for any one person to do or try. It's definitely something I've tried, and that all contributes to learning your body. But I think that's important. So I can say with certainty that dips are very essential if you want to build the outer chest.
It's actually Arnold that did it.
It was
Arnold and Franco. They would.
I have. I'm sure I've read that there was someone else before.
It might be. But I know that when reading Education of the Bodybuilder by Arnold, he states somewhere in the book that he and Franco would do that, and that's actually how he wrote the modern Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, because he would choose one exercise with Franco and work 20, 30, 40 sets of it until they just couldn't do anymore.
Yeah.
And next day they would write in their diaries where exactly it hit in their particular musculature. And that formed his thesis, so to speak, which he then used to create the modern Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. At least that's what the story goes. So.
See, to me, that's much more intelligent than people reading, or at least trusting everything they read. Applying things physically, applying things practically or pragmatically is the way to go. That's your answer. That's smart to me.
I agree. I think it's one of the best ways to learn how an exercise affects you, because some people, for example, say the bench press is mostly deltoid. Others say, no, it hits my pectorals really well. So, I think that experiment that Arnold and Franco did so many years ago is a real good lesson, because if you were to do that with most exercises that you would quickly learn, first of all, which part of the body they hit in your particular physique, and therefore you would have a kind of troubleshooting exercise guide, because if you then have a weakness later on, you will know which exercise to use to directly hit the body part that is weak in your own physique, because you'll have this kind of a reference list as to which exercise hits that particular part. So I think it's a very intelligent form of learning.
Yeah, more people should take that on board.
Yeah. Man, we've spoken for quite a long time, and I'd love to continue, but I know you've got your own life, and you can't spend the whole evening speaking to me, and I've got a person coming in 15 minutes to fix something in my place here, and so I better get ready for that. And again, mate, I appreciate the time you've been given. You've given me. It's I really appreciate your generosity with your time and in informing the audience of the way you train, the way you eat, your ideas about bodybuilding, and it's been a pleasure again. It really has.
I'm more than happy to, and I appreciate your time too.
Thanks, Joel. Yeah,
it's good. It is good content that you're putting out, and I think it's it's unfortunate that it is, I guess, kind of a niche, but it's definitely, I think it's going to open, at least hopefully, a few eyes,
Yeah.
and a few minds, and just get people thinking like outside of, you know, what's considered the norm. So I really like the content you're putting out. So
Thanks,
I
man.
appreciate
Thanks.
you doing this.
Yeah, the whole idea is really, a lot of people may assume that I'm preaching myself as a coach, which I'm definitely not. My
No.
whole idea was to just share the content that the greats have talked about, and
Yeah.
to just, if you want to try it, you try it, because that's
Yeah.
it's the best way to learn, right? So
That's right.
um, I also do the same. Like when I find something that I find interesting from these mags, because I'm always learning.
Yeah.
Every time I open one of these mags, for example, I've got one here I love this cover. You probably look like it too. It's one of my favorite covers. It's got Reg Park on it.
Yeah.
Man, look
That
at this beautiful
he
hill.
looked
Oh,
he looked incredible there. That's an incredible photo, isn't it?
yeah. 1951.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite covers of all time. And yeah, I mean, I just open it for the first time because I've bought so many of these that I haven't even read them. And there's all this new stuff that I learn about, and I just put it out there. That's basically what I do. And as you said, I do hope that it, yeah, makes people think a bit, and just
Yeah.
because that's what's missing, I find. They don't think for themselves anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these guys had no guides, no books back then. They just
No coaches,
nah.
no, well, I'll go as far as to say no supplementation, no
Yeah,
coaches, no access to internet. They
yeah,
didn't have anything. It was trial and error.
yeah,
They learned the body, and I think that's what everyone should be doing a little bit more of.
yeah. They were true gym rats, so to speak, and more like
Mm.
gym lab rats.
Yeah, yeah, right, yeah,
That's what I mean by rats, right?
yeah,
They actually
yeah,
experimented on themselves, and that's the best way they learned. So,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, man, again, thank you so much for your time. And I know you've
Well,
got to get going training and all that. So
yeah, gotta
I
go
wish
train.
you a great evening. And I guess we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'll talk to you again soon. Have a good day, man.
You too. All right. Ciao.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Now, if you're interested in purchasing Joel and Brox's ebooks, please visit www.morethanmuscle.com.au, where you'll find ebooks on the following body parts: biceps, chest, back, legs, and I think deltas coming soon, as well as their Naturally Transforming the Body ebook, an excellent ebook really detailing the journey of both of these fantastic natural bodybuilders. And of course, they also have an excellent package for nutrition plans and training programs, all available on www.morethanmuscle.com.au. Now, if you're interested in following Joel Kellett on his Instagram, you'll find him under Overkill. That's his actual Instagram account, and you'll find that he's got a real cool page full of nostalgic style photos and films. So if you're a real fan of old school bodybuilding and classic physiques, this is a great Instagram. Overkill is his actual Instagram account, so you can follow him there. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the old school techniques and methods of the silver and golden era champs such as Don Howarth, Steve Reeves, Chuck Sipes, and many more, please visit my website www.goldenerabookworm.com, where you'll find out of print books and courses on old school bodybuilding. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, this Q&A I had with Joel, where he describes in great detail his training split and tips on training. I will be following up with another video with the final part of the Q&A I had with Joel, where he actually talks about his experience in competing in different competitions, including his recent competition with Golden Aesthetics, as well as his own aspirations, where he actually wishes to even run his own competition in the future, his opinion on current bodybuilding and the classic physique, as well as his own solutions, his own very interesting solutions and suggestions on improving bodybuilding competitions in general. It's a great Q&A. It was 2 hours long, actually, the one I had with Joel, which is why I had to separate it into different parts, because we did talk about very different topics at length. Again, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm, leave me a comment, and thank you for watching. Of course, you can follow Joel at Overkill, his Instagram handle, and purchase many of his ebooks and nutrition and training course that he does with Brock, his mate, on morethanmuscle.com.au. Hope you've enjoyed the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.